Welcome back, episode 4.
Yes,
it's
sir.
crazy how we're actually on episode 4 right now,
It's weird.
and this place is nowhere close to being done.
I know.
Like,
Literally, there's construction happening outside our door right now.
I know.
We don't have sound panels. It's still echoey as hell.
I
in
know.
here.
Hopefully, they don't hear that.
Hopefully.
They're just priming and
yeah.
sanding the walls.
And the echo is like, depends where we're sitting. If we get far from the mic, it's obvious. But
Yeah.
in general, it's not too bad. So,
But
yeah,
we're cracked.
No
we
decoration.
have that editing magic.
You know that. And
But-
done's better than perfect. The classic saying. I believe in that. So
Yeah.
we've been really excited to do this podcast, and we're just doing it, man.
Yeah.
It'll get better episode by episode until this place is actually done. But
I think so, because if you really think about it, our first episode, I thought we were just doing an audio test.
Yeah.
But it just turned out better than we expected it to be. So we said, hey, why not?
yeah,
You know?
exactly.
I don't want to just overthink things. I just want to be able to just do it. We thought of doing it. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just put it out as long as we're putting in the right effort.
Yeah,
Right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man. I mean, that can just translate to everything. I mean,
Yeah.
for business, life, everything.
Just
Especially
do it.
Just gotta do it.
I feel
you
like
know?
we talked about that a lot actually in the last episode, where like you can't just overthink things. You got to learn as you go. Like things will improve. There's no way we can know what things need to be fixed until we do a couple episodes. And try it out.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
we're just
it's
learning.
there's a saying where it's like your best when you make mistakes, it's not really a mistake, it's more just a learning.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience.
And that
right?
that all comes down to how you treat it, though. You can treat it like, man, I suck. I'm bad at this. I should just give up. Or, okay, dope. Now I know what to do next time.
Yeah, because if
on.
yeah, I mean, looking back to with my own life, all of the mistakes that I've made, they were just a big learning experience. I've
Dude,
learned a lot, so much more.
You're actually like the epitome of that. Like, I've seen it twice now. I don't know if you're into talking about. I can
Okay.
cut it. But first is the apartment.
Yeah.
You didn't get evicted. We keep
Yeah.
saying that, but you got a note saying you got noise complaints, and you were just like, I'm done with this building. I'm moving out. But
and it wasn't just once. I think it was like twice.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
you had
yeah.
this one neighbor that just was like causing a lot of problems. But
Yeah.
either way, most people would take that as like, dude, this sucks. This
I
is so
know.
annoying. I can't afford this, all this stuff. But you're like, you know what? Cool. This is on to bigger, better things. It's an opportunity.
Exactly.
And like you literally said, because we lost our studio, which
Yeah.
we mentioned, but like, then it's like, now we got to get a real one. Like, we have no
Exactly.
choice now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes I always perform best when my back is against the corner.
Yeah.
Because you have no any other choice but to like move forward, right?
Yeah.
Because if I haven't gone kicked out with that at that apartment, we wouldn't have gone this space, and we touched up
Yeah.
on that last episode.
Exactly. So yeah, you show me a lot about that. The second one,
Yeah.
which I don't know if you're into talking about, is the day we got this studio.
Yeah.
Feel
Oh,
free if you're into talking about
that's
that.
actually crazy. So the funny thing is, yeah, I lost my job right. Before we even got this studio, so the studio was already in the works, right?
Yeah.
Like we came to look at the place. We looked and we liked it. We applied and it was in the process, right? But we
Yeah.
haven't really we didn't sign the last part of the lease.
Yeah.
Then
we were negotiating, going back and forth, but it was taking way longer than we thought.
yes,
and-
exactly. So I was almost kind of losing hope
Yeah.
at that point. And I remember telling you, hey, listen, maybe we should start looking at other places
Yeah.
because this is becoming an opportunity cost,
Yeah,
right?
Because
Like
once we started the process of signing this lease,
Yeah.
we stopped looking. It was 2-3 weeks of just going back and forth,
just waiting.
and we're like, if this doesn't end up working out, we just wasted like a month of our time. Like,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, we were just waiting for like 2 to 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, funny enough, so that was just like a normal Tuesday. I think that was a normal Tuesday. No, Monday. That was a normal Monday.
Yes.
Because we got the keys on
Yes.
Tuesday. So it was a normal Monday. And then so I was working from home, and then I get a message from my boss saying, hey, can you hop on to this video call?
Yeah.
And then I get the news that the company was downsizing, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy because I only had gotten that job like a month and a half prior.
Yeah,
To getting
and it was a
let
good
go.
job. It was
It
your
was,
biggest
yes.
job you've had, like
Yeah.
a real job, a real
Yeah.
one. And like the crazy thing is like one, yeah, it was a huge opportunity for you. It was a great job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was going to affect the studio, like, because you were working full time every day.
Absolutely.
So,
And
like,
we already planned it away. We already planned it
Yeah.
ahead. Like, hey, listen, I'm going to work all the way till 4 or 5. I got to go home, take care of my dog, and I'll probably be at the studio by like 7.
yeah.
You know,
And
it's 6 earliest.
Yeah.
And then so
we
it
had
wouldn't
a
have
whole
worked
plan.
out.
I was going to work, like, do some stuff in the mornings, go home, then we'd both come back in the afternoons. We had it planned out. It was going to be fine, but it was a big thing for you to have a full-time job and try to open this space. Like, it was a lot.
It was really going to be a lot. And no, but I just remember calling you.
Yeah.
I FaceTimed you, and you were somewhere. I think you were filming.
I was on a shoot, yeah.
Yeah, you were on a shoot, and then I called you like, "Hey, listen, I have good news and bad news." But then I was telling you,
Yes.
I have bad news that's disguised as a good news, and I
Which is
literally just
wild.
tell you straight up, I
Yeah.
just lost my job, but at the same time, this is a great opportunity for us to just work really hard on the studio.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this was so uncertain because we haven't signed that
Yeah.
final lease yet. So I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm jobless, and I don't even know if my studio is gonna go through."
Yeah, yeah, at that point, like, it all happened within a day, but at that moment, we hadn't got the confirmation.
Yeah.
So it was even scarier for you. But,
Exactly.
But that's the thing. Like, that's what I mean is, like, for you to call me and say, like, you literally just got fired, like, let go. Let's be
Yeah, I
clear.
wasn't fired. It was more like it was like
They
yeah,
got
I was
rid of your whole department.
yeah.
so-
They got rid of the entire department. What's it called? I was laid off.
Laid off,
I was
yeah,
laid
yeah.
off. You know, I wasn't fired. I was laid
Yeah.
off. They
An
gave me some
important-
compensation and
an
whatnot.
important
But
difference. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't your performance; it was just bad timing.
Yeah.
and it just sucked for you. But
Yeah.
the fact that you're gonna call me saying you lost your job and you started off like, hey, so I got good news, but it's bad news. Like, just to look
Yeah.
at it that way is wild and a very cool
Yeah.
way to look at things.
I've always been that person, you know, like when I was on that phone call, when I was on that video call with them telling me that, hey, listen, we're downsizing and whatnot, I didn't really take it that to heart just
Yeah.
because in business, you got to make the best decision for the business and whatnot. And at the same time, I've just always known that I was going to be fine. I'm really resilient in the sense that like I can figure it out when there's big problems. And obviously
Yeah.
like losing a job is like a big thing. But at the same time, I wasn't really attached to that job because I've
Yeah.
just been so in love with business. And from the
things
very
were starting to
beginning,
move and
exactly. And
yeah.
from the very beginning, I've always wanted to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you and I are in business. And
Yeah, it's
this
true.
is something that you and I are pursuing.
And we've always pursued, like, we mentioned this also in episode 3, where we've just always had this vibe of doing things on our own. Like, we've
Exactly.
had jobs since high school up until recently. I still have a job, a
Yeah.
part-time job, and like right now is the first time you haven't for a long time.
Yeah. I've always been the person that had a job.
Yeah,
You know?
like me and you were actually some of the earliest people in our school to have jobs. But
Yeah.
then we were also doing stuff on the side the whole time. Like, I had
Exactly.
a job when I was 16, so
Yeah,
I could buy
same
my
here.
car the day I got my G2. And
Bro, I remember I got a job. My first job was at Tim Hortons.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't even pay me minimum wage because I
Yeah.
was less than 18.
Same.
Yo,
It's
my
called
manager
stu-
literally
it was-
told me, tell me when you turn 18 so that we can pay you minimum.
Yeah,
I was
no,
like, what?
I remember they,
I was
they
like,
called
what?
they called it student wages. It was
Yes,
like under 18
yes.
is like, I forget what it was, but I remember it was $9.60 was my
Okay.
wage when I started.
I think
working.
I think similar with me. But no, what's crazy to me is that we were paid less than minimum wage, but because we were so young, we were doing so much more because everybody wanted it. Everybody was basically, at least for me, everybody was bossing me around. I was
Okay.
that little kid
Yeah.
that everybody was in university, everybody was older than me. And so I was that new kid. And so I would literally do everything.
Yeah,
Whether
that's
that was
classic.
garbages, like I would do trucks and everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. And it was weird because I'm the person that was working the hardest, but I was the person that was getting paid
Making
the
the least, yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me, you know?
It's wild. It's wild. And then actually, it's funny because like we're talking about how we've just always wanted to do business and work for ourselves and stuff. And like this is like what happened to you recently is the perfect example of that. Like you started a job. It was really exciting. It was
Yeah.
huge. It was a great opportunity. Like you could have started planning your whole life around that job.
I could have,
And just
yeah.
on a random Tuesday, boom, gone, nothing. So
know.
like you
I
have
know.
no control, and that's what's scary about it all. Like about being in that
Being
space,
employed,
being
yeah.
an employee is like your entire livelihood is in someone else's hands.
That's so
and
true.
that's scary.
That's
a
so
real
true,
scary
bro.
thing.
And they give you sometimes they give you just enough so that you can plan your life ahead. Like for me, bro, I could have just lived comfortably.
Yeah.
I could have just kept my car, pay my rent and all that stuff. And then but I would have had to do that for my entire life.
Yeah.
To keep up with that lifestyle. I wouldn't have been able to upgrade.
Yeah.
I could afford to downgrade, but at the same time, like I gotten so comfortable with that lifestyle that like it'd be kind of tough to downgrade.
hard, yeah.
And things are getting so expensive that like even if I were to downgrade, my cost of living would be still the same.
Yeah.
And that's just
True.
what's crazy. But whereas with business, the thing that I really love about business is that not only are we in control of our own time, but we also control our paycheck.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so depending on how much work you and I are willing to do, that's also going to reflect on how much money we're going to make on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Because
Yeah.
as an employee, especially in some jobs, like you can kind of just float by, you get your paycheck, life's good. You don't really have much pressure on you.
Yeah.
In terms of performance in a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
So it's like you can kind of just go easy and still get your paycheck.
Yeah.
Or you can be working hard as hell, but you only get a couple extra hours worth of pay. And it's like, there's not much change that can happen there. Whereas for us, if we just go as hard as possible, we're always working, we try to get those clients, like that we're benefiting ourselves directly. Or if we're lazy
cap.
though, it hurts.
Exactly. There's really no cap in how much money you can really make in a
Exactly.
business.
There's no annual
there's
2% raise. It's
Exactly.
It could be huge jumps month by month, like.
And obviously business is not for everyone. I mean, I think the reason why I really like business because it really suits my personality really well. Same with you.
Yeah.
Like for you dread when you're working, bro. Like for someone else, like you want to be in control of your own time.
Yeah.
And same with me. And you and I have this similar characteristic of where we want to really push ourselves and really pursue the things that we really love.
Yeah.
Right. And with business, you get all of that. Right. And in business, you really have to be accountable. Right. Because if something goes wrong, the only person to blame is the business owner. And that's you and me. Right. If we're not getting any clients, who's to blame? That's me and you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
So
it's crazy. And like, because honestly, it's wild. Like, before I even thought about business, like I never really saw that as a route for me.
Yeah.
But in high school, I remember like when you're in the process of trying to figure out what you're gonna do in school, what you want to do for the rest of your life, like the number one thing I was considering with every career was like how in control I am of my time. Like for example, for a while, I had this teacher, Mr. Easton, in law class, and he just got me really passionate about law, and I'm like, I want to be a lawyer. And like, and the first thought, like I was really into it, but then I'm just like, oh, but there's long hours, weekends, blah blah blah, no time with my family, late for dinners, miss events. No, not happening. Then I was kind of into engineering, same thing, long hours, extra hard work, and it's like just the idea of not being in control of my time was the worst thing in the world to me. I literally couldn't care less about pay when I was thinking about jobs. It wasn't about salary, it was about my time,
bro. And that's why people love vacations.
Yeah.
Because they are not in any way being controlled by their boss, right? Because when you're on vacation, you control your time. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you're making money. The company is paying you. That's really nice. But I think the best part about being on vacation is that like you're forgetting all those responsibilities that you don't want to do. You don't want to deal with to begin with. But most importantly, it's just that like you have the time for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just something that everybody really want to have is their time, bro. And that's why when you commit a crazy ass crime, what do?
Yeah,
they take your time. They take your time, bro. They put you in a cell, bro.
They take your ability to
that's
choose.
That's the most important thing we all have is time. And so when you do something crazy, they take that away from you.
Yeah.
And so
no, it's true. Like honestly, and I think the reason I recognize this, the reason I like was thinking about this so much at a younger age is my dad. He really showed me a lot about that. Like,
okay.
So when I was born, my brother's a bit older than me. When he was born, both my parents worked 9 to 5s. He went to daycares, blah, 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 like classic, normal shit stuff, you know. When I was born, my dad kind of realized, like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like dropping my crying kid off at daycare and then going to work. So he's just like, he was doing well. Like, he's in sales at his job, and he was one of the better salesperson there. So he's like, look, either you're going to let me work from home or I'm going to go work somewhere else. And they did. So then he'd literally walk me to school, go home, like, you know, pizza lunches, like at school. He was the one, he volunteered to bring them in. He'd come hang out during lunch. He'd pick me up from school. Like, he was always there. And I love that. Like, I just love the idea of that. Like, just being, I can just spend time with my family, like, and I can still work even if I had a job, but it's just something where you had freedom. And like, that really showed me to like think that way.
Bro, and that's why a lot of people like to work from home.
Yeah.
Is because they're not being micromanaged.
Exactly.
And because they can still kind of do the things that they need to do on a day-to-day basis, but still get the work done.
Exactly.
Right?
And
So
like,
that's why people really like that.
and you can get the work done. You can be productive. Like,
Yeah.
I think companies just like to micromanage to feel like they're in control, but like,
Yeah.
if you actually give someone freedom and let them live life how they want, and you just say, this is what we need from you this week,
Yeah.
if they get it done, like,
They'll perform better.
they will.
They'll
And
perform
be
better.
happier. They'll
Exactly.
be happier to work for you. They'll be more motivated. Like, just let someone live their life, and if they're not getting their work done, then that's when it becomes a problem. But you can't just be like, oh, what were you doing for that hour? Where were you there? When were you there? Why weren't you here at 9? And why didn't you leave at 5? Like,
no, but that's pretty cool that your dad did that. And
Yeah.
like later on, they kind of just parted ways with his work, and he's
Yeah.
kind of just doing his own thing now too, right? With
Yeah.
with
No.
your mom, which is pretty cool.
My parents are a huge inspiration for me being in business. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, similar at that same job, they were there. This was when I was, I don't know, 18, 19.
Yeah.
What I was talking about before was when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
But so they had been working at that same company. They both worked there for over 25 years. My dad was like top salesperson the whole time.
Yeah.
And just out of nowhere, they were trying to downsize, but
Yeah.
they didn't want to fire people because then they have to pay compensation, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
they just started like cutting people's commissions, not paying them out, like taking away their clients, blah, 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 to make people quit.
Yeah.
And my parents just like were so like mad to have them do that when they'd just been giving them their work for 25 years of their life.
Yeah.
So literally my parents essentially were just like, hey, if this is how you're going to act, like, we're leaving. They started their own company.
Yeah.
They were working at a print company, a print supplier, and now they became print brokers.
Yeah.
Within a couple of years, they were doing really well. They replaced their salary within a year and a half.
That's crazy.
It's insane. It was
That's
really
crazy.
motivating. And actually, my second tattoo
Is the name of their company.
was their logo on my leg.
Yeah,
Because that was a huge motivation. My dad told me this quote that I live by.
Okay.
You got to be dumb enough or smart enough to take the door, and then you can have anything. Like, because if someone's not treating you right,
Yeah.
you just got to say, look, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave if you continue treating me this way.
Okay.
That might be the smartest thing you do. They might change. You might move on, and that's the smartest thing you did. It might be dumb, but at least you're not this miserable, like, living under someone's power. Like,
Yeah,
you need
it's
to
like
be
you're
in control.
taking your own life, you know?
Yeah.
not in not in that literal
Taking
sense,
control
but taking
of your
control of
life.
your own life, bro. Oh
Yes.
my goodness, bro.
Jeez.
Jeez.
So yes, a huge motivation, and they did that about 2 years before we started Lanllo Media.
Yeah.
They did that.
No, and I see them right now, and they're doing really well. They
Yeah.
they go on vacations. They're in control of their own time, and
They basically work in their
they work when they
pajamas.
want. They work when they want.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that is because they're so good at their job
Yeah.
that they're making the money that they need to make.
Exactly.
You know,
that's
and
all
like,
they care about. It's like they're not trying to scale. They're not trying to hire a team of employees, build an office. Like, it's them two sitting in the living room in their pajamas, watching TV.
Yeah.
Oh, gotta make a quick call. Gotta send an email.
Yeah.
All right,
That's what I
let's go for a
aspire to
walk
be.
today. Let's go for a bike. Whatever. Like,
Yeah.
they're just living life. It's
exactly.
great.
That's what I aspire to be with, like, business. The thing that I really like about business is, yes, I'm in control of my own time, and I'm doing the things that I want to do, and also not having anyone kind of boss me around and micromanage me,
Yeah.
because I just like to live in my own terms.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it is that you and I haven't really shared this with you, but I also love the fact that, like, I can hire someone and give them a sense of give them a living, you know, giving someone a job, you know, supplying jobs into the community is actually a pretty cool thing.
It's
too.
really cool.
Yeah.
And in the same sense of how we feel about jobs, it's cool because we have the opportunity to not be that.
Exactly.
We have the opportunity to not micromanage someone or make them
Exactly.
feel worthless or like they're like just give us more for less money. Like, I think we're very fair with who we work with, and we compensate them well. Like, it's never like, oh,
we're never really greedy.
Never,
right? We're never
because-
greedy, because at the end of the day, without them, we wouldn't be making the money that we're
Yeah.
making, right? It's just the way it works,
Like,
right? But some people are just really greedy. They want everything.
they want that quick little extra profit in the moment. But
Yeah.
I genuinely believe in, like, giving respect to someone, it will come back to you. Like,
Exactly.
like if you just treat someone well, pay them what they deserve.
Yeah.
Like, don't like, just treat them like a human being, treat them how you would want to be as an employee. And like, they will just be more happy to work with you, even if they have to move on, or even if they're like, I would have no problem if someone who worked for us was like trying to start their own business. I'd give them all the advice I can. I'd try to help them get there, because you know, we can find someone else, but like to hold them down and try to make them stay there, like it's just gonna make them resent the company. It's make them not want to work. All these things, like
and like for me, I value relationship with people way more than like I would value money. You know, like if let's say like I could have made an extra 20% on that project, and I would have just kept that. I much would rather like give that 20% to that person, build a good relationship, and have a robust relationship with that person, than have that extra 20% in my pocket. Like, there's no point, you know.
Of course, in the long term, like that relationship will do so much more for you than that 20% did that one time.
It always circles back. But yeah, no, I'm just really excited because we've always had the business online, and now we're scaling it on a much larger scale.
Yeah, we're getting
which is kind of like scary, but at the same time,
it's more pressure.
There's definitely a lot of pressure, but I'm also really excited because with this, now we're really dealing with people face to face, right? Usually before we just give them a call, email and whatnot. But now there's really going to be a lot of things that you and I will have to learn. And this is going to be a big learning curve, bro. Because 100%. Just take that in. People are going to be coming in here now. We're going to be like customer service reps.
Yeah.
In some ways, you know?
And it's different because, like me and you have been customer service reps for 8 years.
Yeah.
But it's totally different because it doesn't matter. If we're having a bad day, whatever, like my boss might get mad at me, but I don't care. Like here, it's like, this is our reputation. Like you were saying before, if something's wrong, if there's a bad experience, even if we hire someone to be that customer service rep, if they don't act like in a good way towards a client, that's still on us.
Exactly.
So it's a bigger deal, but it's also really cool. Because it's more pressure, it's more risk, but we also have so much more to offer now. So it's twofold. It goes both ways, and
I'm just excited.
I'm really excited.
I'm just really excited to just even seeing this place come into fruition, bro. Like everything just was an idea, and now it's crazy to take a step back and like really realize on how far we've come. And all of this wouldn't have been possible if we had given up.
It's true, man.
With business is so crazy, bro, because I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I were to take myself back to 2020 when we started our business, and I kind of was being critical, I would look at us and say like, bro, we don't know what the hell we're doing. And we didn't know what we're doing. And now it's just so crazy on how much we've transformed as people, as well as like a business. And now it's more of like a legit business. It's always been a legit business, but I don't know. It's just the way we handle things is so much different than it was before. And these are the things that we wouldn't have learned if we didn't take the leap of just starting the business.
Let me tell you this, or let me ask you, because we're about to hit 3 years in business. We only just got this space. We've been grinding. Like we put in for those full 3 years, give or take a month or two in there. Like we're grinding the whole time. Hours every day, like every week, full time. Like literally, this was a full-time job on top of whatever else we were doing. School,
life,
jobs,
relationships and everything.
If you had the choice, would you do it again from scratch right now? You knew the same 3 years we were ahead of you. Would you do it right now?
Yes.
I
would because I can't see myself doing anything else, bro. I mean, like the thing is, like I'm in the niche of the media, and I'm in the media niche, marketing and whatnot, but I just love business in general. Like if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing a whole different business. Right? Like before we got into the digital marketing space, we were doing drop shipping, right? We were going to sell products. Way back in high school, we were selling shirts. We've always had the entrepreneurial mindset. Like way before that, I also had a car detailing business. True. I had a car detailing business. Flyers. Bro, I made flyers, bro. I remember I went to Algonquin and I printed up like a couple thousand paper, and I would just run it was funny because my strategy was I didn't really know about Facebook ads and whatnot, and I wasn't I had limited knowledge into that space, so I literally printed like thousands of flyers, and I only hit up rich neighborhoods because I was like, yo, these are the people that would actually spend the money to get their car cleaned, and because their cars were much nicer.
Yeah.
So at the very beginning, I kind of already had an idea of
your
marketing.
Audience,
exactly. It's like, hey, rich neighborhoods would have nicer cars. That means they would care more about their cars being cleaned, and they would have more
income to spend.
Exactly. They have more disposable income for that type of stuff. But yeah, no. Circling back to your question, yes, I definitely would do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely do things differently.
Of course.
Because
we've learned so much. Like,
we've learned so much.
If we did have to start from scratch today, it would be, I think we'd be at this stage within like 5-6 months.
Yes. And that's the thing, bro. And the thing is, the thing I like about us with business is that I'll be very, very transparent with you right now. We've made barely any money between you and I for the business. The business has always been able to just run itself and scale to the point where it is right now.
What you mean is me and you personally.
Exactly.
We have not taken any from ourselves.
Exactly.
And that's why we've had jobs this whole time.
Exactly. And and if you think about it, bro, like if we were only just doing this whole thing for money, we should have quit 3 years ago, bro.
That's
like
kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I should have added that to my question, knowing that 3 years you're making zero
money.
We tried a little payment structure, but literally the most we've paid ourselves within a year is like $1,500.
Yeah, bro. And that's the thing. Yeah, that's why
we put every dollar back into this business. But that's why we can have the equipment we have. We've always had a space to work out of. We've always had it's
just very
I think
risky.
It was the right call, but. It is
and that's
hard.
the thing, like, and I don't mind if we don't make any more money. I mean, we need the money, but bro, like, if we, it's hard to say because like me not having a job and everything. That's why I'm just really putting my foot on the gas pedal right now, just because. I mean, bills got to get paid, but at the same time, that was never really in my priority. You know, like I was never doing Lanllo Media to just pay for my bills and whatnot. It was more just like, I love it. I love business. And this is something that I want to build with Mason. And if it becomes something in the future, then so be it.
Yeah.
But I was never doing it for the money, you know, because if we were doing it for the money, we would have collapsed a long time ago.
There was other ways. If we just wanted money in our pocket, we could have flipped things on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, and like you and I are very resourceful, right? You and I are very resourceful. You and I are not very wealthy, but at the same time, we just always figure things out when things needs to be figured out.
It's true.
And so, but yeah, I mean, it would be amazing if this business eventually like gives us like that financial freedom that we would probably want to have in the future. But
the best part about us paying ourselves from the business more than anything is that we don't need those jobs and we can just focus on the business. Like, I think at the end of the day, it will actually make more sense.
I think that would be the biggest
There's less
success.
to reinvest, but so much more time that we're investing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good trade-off, depending. Obviously, you can't just...
Yeah.
That's the contractors turning on our lights, but that's fine. You know what? I think that's a good time to wrap up anyways.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It was a good chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next one.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Peace.